What's up, guys? I'm just a gamer and I'm back with another video. And this one is okay. I am a massive Star Wars fan. I watched the entire Obi-Wan series and I've seen other YouTubers commenting about it. And off the bat, I just want to say I really like the series. Was it perfect? No. But overall, I thought the show was excellent. I really dug Reva's character. Obviously, I would have liked it if they went a bit more into her like earlier. I felt like it wasn't enough of her backstory for like the last two episodes, and that was it. I felt like we needed to dive deeper into her even like earlier in the series to really get a better in-depth look at her. But overall, I dug her character and I really liked the show. Now, the main thing I want to talk about is the final fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And I know this is not my wheelhouse, as this is mostly me talking about games and stuff like that. But I just wanted to get my 2 cents on this fight out there, because obviously there's a bunch of YouTubers out there way more knowledgeable and into Star Wars than me, and they know more about Star Wars than I will ever learn in a lifetime. But I feel like a lot of them are like overcomplicating this fight and like the reasons for why Obi-Wan won, Darth Vader lost, power levels and force levels and all this other stuff they're like trying to break down. And they could be right, but and they more than likely are more right than I am going to be. But I feel like they're overcomplicating it. So I'm gonna just give my 2 cents on why I think the fight went this way, and not necessarily from a Star Wars perspective, but just from a story perspective. So please keep that in mind when I go into this. All right. So starting out, I think the reason Vader lost this fight is because he let his anger towards Obi-Wan blind him. Now, again, I can't remember if it's in Legends and canon in a video game or somewhere, but I could have sworn I remember some Sith talking to other Sith about them using anger in a fight, which is what Sith and the Sith do. They use negative emotions like hatred and anger, but they say to use that hatred but not let it, or use that anger but not let it blind you. And I feel that's what happened to Vader. He let it blind him. And I think that's the main reason why he lost to Obi-Wan in this fight. We can see it here in this part when he literally lets out a guttural yell and charges in at Obi-Wan. And yeah, if I remember correctly, actually no, I did watch the movie just recently. Going back to A New Hope, when Vader confronts Obi-Wan there, he seems much more in control and level-headed. He doesn't just charge in like he did in this fight. And again, that's because I believe, like I said, I think his anger is getting the best of him. And that's actually something that Obi-Wan even refers to in the 5th episode, like where he wants to prove himself when he just goes at it. And I think that's, from a story's perspective, they're trying to show that he's still like that. He's still gun-ho when he shouldn't be. And I think that's what ultimately leads to his defeat. Again, let me reiterate that I'm viewing this from more of a storytelling perspective than a Star Wars perspective. And so, moving on from Vader, I want to talk about Obi-Wan. And I see a lot of people talking about a bunch of different reasons, again, why Obi-Wan is not this powerful, or he should be as powerful, or this and this and that. And I actually think, again, from a story perspective, it's a lot simpler than that. throughout the show, or throughout the series, forgive me, we see that Obi-Wan is dealing with a lot of guilt. Guilt over Anakin, what happened. He even says for everything, he has this guilt in him. And I believe that is the weakness Vader is referring to when he tells Obi-Wan that it's still there. That weakness is still there. I believe that guilt is that weakness that Obi-Wan has. And I feel like a lot of people are just bypassing that too often or too much. This is even further shown when Obi-Wan is buried in the rubble. He's hearing like the voices of the past, Anakin and like all the torment and everything. Like that dialogue is the guilt within him that he's feeling. It's only when he finally lets go of that guilt and starts focusing on the future. That's why we see the flashes of Luke and Leia. His focus on the future, on the hope for it, is what finally gives him the strength to break free and throw the rubble away. He lets go of that guilt and, in a literal sense from what we see, he breaks free of that guilt and focuses on the future. In summary, Vader's anger blinds him, and during round 3 basically of the fight, we see that with Obi-Wan free of his guilt, he's finally able to do more. His weakness that Vader felt is gone, and he's able to finally beat Vader in that sense. So I felt like story-wise, in the flow of how a story is, I felt that's what makes sense. That's what flows. So again, I know people are debating force levels and technique and Vader's mechanical limitations and all this other stuff. But when it comes down to it, on a basic story level, that is why Obi-Wan beat Vader here. Twofold. One, Vader's anger blinded him. He was in a blind rage just fighting. And two, when Obi-Wan finally let go of his guilt, he was finally able to, overcome that weakness that Vader referred to, and he felt. And that is how he was able to beat Vader. So again, that's just my 2 cents. I know this is probably, people are going to go crazy. If anybody watches this, they're going to go crazy and tell me I'm wrong and all that, and that's fine. I'm just trying to view this from a storytelling standpoint and not necessarily a Star Wars standpoint, in the sense of like power levels and technique and all that other nonsense. From a just story level, that's what makes sense as to why and how Obi-Wan beat Vader. Anger and the guilt. Well, the anger blinding Vader and Obi-Wan breaking free of his guilt. So yeah, let me know what you think. Am I completely bonkers crazy and I should shut up and never talk about Star Wars again? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd really like to hear whatever you guys have to say. Any feedback at all is appreciated. But yeah, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, take care and have a good game.